Hello everyone and welcome back to the Homebrew Workshop. In this video we're going to take a look at Woodcarver's tools, take a look about what we know about them for D&D 5th edition right now, and what we can do to improve them to make them more interesting for play value for the game. So without further ado, let's take a look at Woodcarver's tools. So what do we know about Woodcarver's tools? We know that they're a type of tool, they cost 1 gold piece, and they weigh 5 pounds. They also allow you to add your proficiency bonus when applicable. But what exactly does that mean? For us and our purposes, I would like to design Woodcarver's tools a system that will allow people to take interest in Woodcarver's tools as a profession. So for goal area 1, how do we allow for Woodcarver's tools to be something that someone could pursue as a trade for money? Additionally, objective 2, how do we highlight Woodcarver's tools to make them more interesting in gameplay in terms of active production? How do we allow for somebody to make these things using tools that will allow them to highlight this interest? As a suggestion to succeeding on both fronts, Woodcarver's tools are, in contrast to carpenter's tools, designed with artistic endeavors in mind. For the most part, these tools are capable of creating remarkable and natural looking works of art with middling quality in terms of constructive features. You don't necessarily call a woodcarver for your wagon wheel, you call a carpenter. But if you're looking for a wonderfully sculpted wooden eagle, you don't necessarily call a carpenter, you call a woodcarver. And so that distinction is where this tool gets set apart. The focus of Woodcarver's tools is aesthetic. A woodcarver needs a means of production and sale to make their money. And so for being a woodcarver and succeeding within your trade, you have to actively work and produce different pieces to then sell to earn your money. To be able to do this, I have designed a active production kind of process. Production for Woodcarver's tools can take place just about anywhere, with the only limit really being the tools and the size of the project. Larger projects will be extremely cumbersome and difficult to take on the road. But despite all of this, if you have a small enough project and you have the tools available, there's no reason that you can't necessarily pursue it as you travel. The life of an adventurer very seldom takes place in one location. It tends to be very mobile. You tend to be exploring and taking on and moving through the dangerous parts of the world. So this active production system that will fulfill both of these goal areas is designed to allow you to do that, at least for the most part. Taking a look at how we make this active production work, we're going to use 2 familiar tables, the size and the complexity and quality table, but specifically for Woodcarver's tools. The very first step of this development project is to determine what you're trying to make. Tell your DM and declare, I want to make my 20-foot tall statue of myself out of this fallen tree. That's great. How do we do that now? What we end up doing is determining, based on the size chart, the actual size of the piece that you're looking to make. So are you a human? Are you a dwarf? Are you a halfling? Are you a Goliath? And what size is this likeness? Is it lifelike? Is it life size? Is it a smaller representation that you can carry with you? That will all depend. The piece that you have, if it's a tiny piece, or if it's going to be a medium-sized piece, will end up determining exactly how much time it's actually going to take to work with this amount of material, but also how difficult it's going to be to work with it. Once you know the size, you can determine how complex or how high of a quality you are aiming for. So how difficult is it going to be to actually create this piece? Now, you can choose from a low quality, average quality, moderate, high, or exceptional, and that reflects directly to how complex it's going to be for you as the woodcarver to actually create it. What this does for you is helps you determine the gold piece value modifier. So if you want to make a life-sized human statue out of a tree, what you're looking for is a medium class actual project, and you're looking for, if you want it to be as lifelike as possible, at the very least a moderate to high quality. We'll say a high quality. So from that, what you get is that your size that you're aiming for is a medium class size. It has a size value of 4, so you at the very least are going to be spending 4 hours on it from 4d6. At this point, you can roll to determine how long it's going to actually take you to spend to actually create this. Now, this time can be spent all at once or in chunks, but ultimately it must be spent in its entirety to consider the project completed. You also have a size DC modifier. Now, if you've watched the last few videos, it's very likely that you know exactly where this is going already, but you take that modifier and keep it in mind. Now, if we're looking at a high complexity, you could be earning 8d8 times that original size value, so times 4 gold pieces off of the sale of this piece, or at the very least, that's how much it's worth. Then you also have the complexity DC modifier of +4. Now, what exactly does that mean? That means that when you end up actually taking on the wood carving skill challenge, you have your calculated project DC that you have to beat now. What you need to do for the wood carving skill challenge is it's a skill check that for whatever skills your DM may end up calling for. It is 10 plus your size modifier plus your complexity modifier. So for our life-sized human statue, what we're looking at is 10 plus 4 for the size medium plus 4 for the quality of high. So that is an 18 to beat for these checks. You can make 3 different rolls, but you have to succeed on 2 of them to fully complete the project the way that you expect to. Otherwise, if you do not succeed on 2 of them, there is a chance that you are unable to complete the project and you lose the time and the materials and whatever gold you had sunk into this project at the very beginning. These checks are made throughout, and so you've already lost whatever time you've already lost. But if you do have a wonderful DM that will allow for a partial success, you may be able to create a piece of art from this wood carving that isn't necessarily of the quality that you were targeting, but a little bit lower. So maybe your high quality, very lifelike human-sized statue is of moderate or average or, God forbid, low quality. So maybe as you were making it, you just totally didn't get the face right, and everything looks fine except for the face, and the face looks real bad and derpy. That's great, because that's D&D. That's, best laid plans is what D&D is kind of all about. It's having fun and enjoying the time, and so you don't necessarily need to make everything perfect, and it will be difficult to make everything perfect, but the process is kind of the more enjoyable part of it. But ultimately, what the other thing you should know here is the project's size modifier is used to calculate its overall weight. The project requires enough pounds of material equal to at least 10 times the size value needed. So our medium-sized statue is going to need at the very least 40 pounds of material. Now, that's a lot to take with you on the road, and so for the most part, anything over maybe a small size is something that you're going to want to do during downtime, or whenever you have a chance to be relatively sedentary, or if you have something that you can very specifically use to carry with you this much material, it will be beneficial. But that's up to your own creative problem-solving skills. That's it for the Woodcarver's tools. thank you all for watching. In the next video, we'll take a look at another artisan's tools. We're making our way through them pretty well. But for now, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.